Hello, it's Wednesday the 14th of November. In this video I'm just looking at the latest EuroMillions result. I'm going to analyse it and make some predictions for the next draw. So this was my ticket. I didn't win anything. And I don't think anybody won the jackpot, so now it's going up to 43 million. It was machine 11 again and set of balls 1. That's the machine and set of balls that they're using this month. I call it machine 2 because there's only actually 3 machines. And these are the winning numbers. Now this is my analysis. So 13 was the most overdue main number. That's when looking at all machines and sets of balls. And you can see why I picked star number 3, because it was most overdue for its frequency with machine 2 and set of balls 1, and also with machine 2 and all sets of balls. And it was also most frequent with set of balls 1 and most frequent in recent history. So at least I got star number 3. Now star number 3 pointed to main number 7 as the most overdue for its frequency with set of balls 1 in recent history and machine 2 in recent history as well. So I could have predicted main number 7 from that, but I chose not to pick that one, so I didn't win anything on that. So this is where the winning numbers were on the main number chart. There's 13 at the top, these are the other numbers down here near the bottom, and this is where all the numbers were. So you can see that 13 stood out the most as being the most overdue. Now, if we look at a chart for 13, machine 2 and set of balls 1, then that points to main number 10 as the most frequent number occurring with main number 13. Oops, I put machine 1, I should have put machine 2. Right, machine 2, set of balls 1. And out of just 3 draws, main number 10 has been the most frequent. Just 3 draws. So number 10 stood out in that way. And also, if we look at the star numbers on that chart as well, and we look at number 7 instead of 13, then there's star number 6, most frequent on that. So that one stood out. Not really enough to make it predictable, but it stood out enough to show up on the analyzer. But anyway, star number 3 points to number 7, number 7 points to number 6, number 6 points to main number 2, main number 2 points to main number 10 as well. So these 4 main numbers and these 2 star numbers were all predictable, The only one that none of the other numbers pointed to was 42. So if we look at a chart for 42, and if we look at all machines and sets of balls, then we should see the winning numbers standing out a little bit on that chart at least. So you can see there's number 13. So if it wasn't for main number 3, then 13 would have stood out as most overdue for its frequency. So second most overdue for its frequency on that. And star number 3 was most overdue with main number 42. So that stood out. And if we look at machine 2, then you can see that machine 2 and recent history. Yep, main number 7 stood out as most overdue for its frequency, and so did star number 3 with 42. So I'm guessing that if we look at a chart for main number 7, then you see 42's on the edge of that chart. And if we look at a chart for main number 7 and star number 3 together, can't see 42 on that, but I'm guessing that it'll be near the edge. So on the chart for star number 3, 42's there, near the edge. Not enough to make it predictable. And I'm guessing that if we look at a chart for main number 7, then we should see 42 somewhere close to the edge on that. Or maybe not. It's right down there. But with machine 2, it's close to the edge on that one. So that's about all I can say for my analysis. I notice 42's second most frequent with machine 2. And now that these winning numbers have come out, this is what the chart now looks like for machine 2 and set of balls 1. So main number 12 is still most overdue for its frequency. .36 is still most frequent. So the analyzer now for the EuroMillions as it is at the moment, looking at all machines and sets of balls, 19 is still the most overdue for its frequency, but now that 13's come out, it's taken its place as the most overdue as well. So you definitely want to pick number 19 for that reason, because it's definitely outstanding. So I'm going to pick 19. And the numbers that I picked last time were these numbers, so I'll just analyse that again. Same numbers again. Oops, that was the wrong one. Right. 16, 27, oops, 19, 27, 34, oops, 1 and 3. Yeah. So those were the numbers that I picked, and if they come out in the next draw, then we'll get these coincidences. So a lot of coincidences there. So I probably might just stick with the same numbers, but now that star number 3's come out, I might change that one. So looking at the star numbers then, the reason I picked star number 1, I think it was because with machine 2 and set of balls 1, star number 1 was most overdue for its frequency, and star number 3 most overdue for its frequency with star number 1. So those two star numbers point to each other in that way. And the question is star number 3 set for a consecutive occurrence? So to figure that out, I'll just have a look at the gap chart for star number 3, and this is what the gap chart looks like. So the answer is no, probably not, because the gap of 1 is where it should be, furthest to the left, and then it should go eventually. This will even out so that it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You can see how it's beginning to even out now, like it should be. Eventually, after a very long amount of time, the 1 will be very far to the left, then it'll go 2, and you can see how the pattern's evolving to what it should be. So maybe that 1 could move further to the left, maybe not, I don't know. So to make things simple, I'm just going to put the same numbers on again in the next draw, and you can see why. It's because if they come out, we'll get all these coincidences. And so the only other thing that I'm going to mention in this video is the strategy, the 1 number optic strategy. So you can see that main number 19 has now been the most overdue for its frequency for 16 draws, and if we follow the draw history back, we can see that the number that's most overdue for its frequency doesn't usually go as high as 16 draws. Well, since the hot picks began in draw 1080, if we look right back to the beginning, since draw 1, this is how much money we would have made by now if we were following this strategy. But the most we would have had to bet on any one draw is £231, which is quite high. I probably wouldn't want to go that high in a single draw, and to maintain the strategy, I would have had to borrow £1,000, unless I started with £1,000 So if I had £1,000 to start with, then by now, following this strategy, I would have 1,700. So if you've got £1,000 lying about and you want to make some money, I'm not sure how long the EuroMillions has been running, but if you were following this strategy from the beginning with the op picks, then by now you would have made 700 quid. However, it hasn't been running that long. And I'm just going to see the worst case scenario. Where's that £231? Where is it? I think that's the one. Yeah. So 35 draws, and that's due to the fact that main number 1 and main number 3 switched places a few times as being most overdue for the frequency, so that when the most overdue for its frequency number finally came out, it had been 35 draws, which is quite high. And at the moment we're on 16, which is a little bit higher than average. And it's not the highest since the op picks began. The highest was 18. So how much longer it's going to go on for before number 19 comes out again, I'm not sure. But if you're following this strategy, then the number of lines that you want to put on it is 7. So to put 7 lines on will cost £10.50, and it will cover losses so far on that number of £66, resulting in a £4 profit. So in the next draw I'm going to put 7 one number op picks on number 19 to maintain this strategy. So that's what I'll be doing in the next draw. And I would also definitely put number 19 on my normal ticket, so I'll definitely have 19 on that. And because I'm having 19 on that ticket, I'm going to have 34, because in recent history it stands out as being most overdue for its frequency with number 19. So I will just see what the chart looks like for main number 19. So to pick numbers with 19, if you're looking at all machines and sets of balls, main number 5 stands out as most overdue for its frequency on that chart. These are the ones that are most frequent with 19. You can see that 22 is most overdue, and there's actually a full column waiting for number 22 to jump across into that column and catch up with the other numbers. So I might actually swap one of these other numbers for 22. But if we know it's going to be machine 2 and set of balls 1, then number 12 stands out on that chart. So let's see what stands out with 19 on that chart. So on the chart for machine 2, set of balls 1, you can see number 19's only actually being drawn 3 times with machine 2 and set of balls 1 together. And if you notice, 27 seems to stand out with that, and so does 23. 6 and 25 are most frequent. So Also 27 is most overdue for its frequency with machine 2. So I would say definitely 19 and 27. Good choice of two numbers there. And the most overdue pair is 16 and 27. Out of every possible pair of numbers, 16 and 27 is the most overdue. They've not been out together since draw 12. So I definitely want to keep those three numbers. Now, looking at the chart for machine 2 and set of balls 1, you can see 27's on the edge of that chart, 19's near the edge. So that's where the rest of the numbers are, and also 16 is pretty much on the edge of that chart as well. So it could be it could finally be the time when 16 and 27 come out together. Quite possibly. And also the most frequent on that chart, 36. 36, does that stand out with any of these? It doesn't seem to come up on the analyzer except with 27 when looking at all machines and sets of balls. So I might change 34 for 36 for that reason. So I might do that, and if I did, that would stand out nicely with number 1 as well as most frequent. Star number 1, that is. So maybe I'll change that number, maybe I won't, I'm not sure about that. Don't really make much difference. But you can see that 27 stands out with 34 and 34 stands out with 27. So I might just keep 34 after all. But anyway, what numbers you pick is entirely up to you. Oh, actually, before I go, I'll just show you what the main chart looks like now. So the main chart for all machines and sets of balls, now that the winning numbers have come out, now that 13 has dropped down from up there down to there, and the other numbers have dropped down from near the bottom, there's 19 up at the top now. So yeah, that's what the chart looks like. 46 lagging behind over there on the left, 50 steaming ahead on the right, 19 at the top. It's also most overdue for its frequency, so definitely 19 in the next draw. And what other numbers are going to come out, I have no idea, but my strategy is just to pick the most outstanding numbers and hope for the best. So which numbers you'll pick, I don't know. You probably have better ideas than me, but anyway, that's the end of this video. Look out for the next one, and bye for now.